Hi guys. So, we have a horrible stream quality today because um so I hope that nothing is wrong with my camera and it's just that all of my batteries somehow are not charged, which I don't believe is the case because I have this thing and I charged it. So I'm kind of worried that something happened to my camera because I've swapped like three different batteries and it doesn't turn on. Uh, and it's not cool, but hopefully it's going to be fine. Also, I don't understand. I just got like an answer to my TikTok support ticket and it doesn't say anything, so I'm not sure what's going on. So confusion here, much confusion. Oh, it's because I'm on a different account. Okay. Here, just give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. Um, I just need to see what, where is this stupid freaking response that I was supposed to. And I know it's for the support ticket for like for this previous for that like violation, but it doesn't look like it's been resolved, so whatever. Still can't go live. Not like I, need to hear that many times. So how is everyone's evening? Um I'm sorry I'm doing the live late today. And I know it's horrendous timing. However, do you remember in my previous fundraisers there was a fantastic person from Twitter who was matching donations up to $1,000. So he's not matching, or they rather, not because it's just I don't want to like reveal the person's identity, but this time they're matching donations up to $500. So if we raise $500 for the drone fundraiser, it's going to be matched. So, for instance, if you donate $5 during the stream, it's going to be matched to $10. If you donate $10, it's going to be matched to $20. I'm going to talk about it a little more during the stream, but for now, I'm gonna like start with just oh, finally I turned on TikTok. So so I'm going to just start with like the news and talking and stuff. Okay, so hi KT, hi Juju. S- T minus 5 minutes to Sydney time. Oh, hi Michael. Hi Odin. Hi Grumpy. Hi Neil. It's good to see you. Hi Praxis. Hi Carolyn. Hi John and hi Lauren. Hi last one. Hi Darlene and hi, yeah, I think. Oh, hi, Thomas. Also, hi, Gregory. Hi, everyone on TikTok. Sorry, I might be like missing people. So, yes, it is super nice. And they're actually like a really nice person. The first time around, they just saw a fundraiser of mine and they saw that it was stalled. So, they offered to match up to $1,000 donations. And then I believe in that same fundraiser, at the tail end of it, or maybe it was a different fundraiser. It was a while ago. They offered to match another $1,000, and then this time, so because the fundraiser has been kind of like moving slow, I actually asked if they would want to do that again, and they said that they would do $500, which is like very, 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 very super sweet of them. Because they're just and they live in New York, and they seem to be just like a very, very good and pro-Ukrainian person. And that's like a super sweet thing of them. So what this person ends up doing is like if they see fundraisers that are not going as like as like not fast, but as like sort of efficiently as they could go, they basically tried to boost them by offering to match donations because that's like that's sort of like a cool thing to do. Thank you, Carol. That's a really really cool thing to do, and it usually helps like bring fundraisers up to speed. So yeah, I am really really grateful and appreciative of that. I'm also a little like anxious today, and I'm sure you see it. Thank you, Tom. So Cindy is getting a surgery tomorrow. It's oh my gosh. Thank you, Grumpy. So we just got a $10 donation. So actually, we got okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open this and I'm going to add a $10 donate. Oh, well, actually, a $20 donation because $10 turns into 20. So it's $4,696 is where the fundraiser is at. Thank you, Grumpy. That is super generous and very nice. So what I was gonna say is, oh hi, and hi Tawny, hi everyone. So I'll catch you up on TikTok because I started YouTube a little faster than TikTok. I had some technical difficulties in this fundraiser. This very very lovely person from TikTok offered to match donations done through streams up to $500. So if you donate $10 to the fundraiser for drones for third separate assault, it's going to turn into 20. If you donate 50, it's going to turn into 100. If you donate, basically each of your donations today is doubled. So it's a very very sweet initiative, and I really appreciate it because it does really help. It does really help kind of boost fundraisers. Also, for those of you on YouTube, I'm sorry, I'm going to wipe my camera because I feel like that might help the quality. So I'm sorry for the weird. Yeah, kind of a little bit, not too much, but a little bit. So that's very generous, right? It's very nice. So basically, what was I talking? Why am I anxious today? And this, I have literally kind of zero reason to be anxious because this procedure is not something super complicated, nor is it something that should be really really. Oh my gosh! Oh my God! You guys, wait. So Kat, thank you very much. Kat donated $50 and that turned into 100. And then, so I don't know if you want me to mention your name. So you let me know, or if you don't let me know, then I'll know not to mention. But another person donated $100 because I know that you don't so that turned into $200. And that brings us to, yes, so Lotus Lilith did, so that turned into $4,996. And yay, wow, that was really cool. Wait, so we so far raised $320 out of the $320 out of the potential 1,000, right? Because if it's doubled, then it's 1,000. That's really cool. That's actually super cool. Sorry, I'm just this is really exciting. This is really nice. So I technically have no reason. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Odin. So doubled after it being doubled, it's another $50. So that's $5,046, which is enough for 2 drones now. So we are steadily moving towards 3 drones, which is really cool. Okay, so wait, if I do see donations coming while I'm talking, I'm going to announce them after I finish the sentence because I'm never going to finish it otherwise. So it's not really a procedure I should be super worried about because Cindy basically, so she has a tail deformity. And for the past 2 years, she's been scooting and scratching her rear a lot. And she does it she does it constantly. And I've brought her to vets in the US. And I've spent so much time and resources trying to figure out what's wrong. And everybody was like, oh, she needs her glands cleaned, or you just need to use baby wipes to wipe it and stuff, which I've done. Like I literally wipe my dog's ass. That's how spoiled my dog is. And another thing that people, another recommendation that I had was another recommendation that I had was sort of like there were kind of like probiotics or like changing her food or just like sort of these like things that never seem to help. I've done all of the possible like labs. I've done all the tests. I've checked her for worms. I've like literally everything there is to do under the sun. And every vet in the US was just like, oh, we don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like her thing. And I'm like, what do you mean it's her thing? If she doesn't have hair on her butt because she scoots so much that she like sheds in that area. Like she's lost hair in that area because she scoots so much. And so I came into a vet in Ukraine, which by the way was I think around $15 for a vet visit. And I don't mean just for the visit itself, not for the procedures, I mean for the whole thing. And the vet was like, what do you mean her tail is like it is curved unnaturally? So she has a tail deformity and it presses on like her, it like presses on the area that it shouldn't press on. And so what ends up happening is because there is like the pocket inside her tail, it gets like irritated and it gets basically all sorts of like skin irritations and stuff like that end up happening. And also it like presses on the area in which it shouldn't. So basically she just needs her tail like removed, because so Frenchies don't get their tail docked. They're born with like this tiny little piece of a tail, and sometimes they're born and they're fine. And sometimes they're born and they're fine. And sometimes they're, they have these like things. And so tomorrow her tail is going to be removed, and technically it's not a super difficult procedure, but it's like it's done under general sedation and general anesthesia. And because she's a French bulldog and they're like short nose and so brachycephalic, anything that's full sedation is like not great. It's kind of like it's kind of difficult on the lungs, and then she needs like a vent. So, well, I mean, it's better to have a vent. So they're going to have her on a vent while she's sedated. And then it's 2 weeks recovery. And it's technically not a difficult recovery process, but because it's like her ass, not like a leg or something, she can't have like the cone because that's not going to do anything. So I have to sort of like watch her constantly. And this is all happening at a very, very, very unfortunate timing because I'm also moving to Kyiv and I have to move there by the 15th because I'm starting a job in media in Ukraine on the 15th, or sort of like by the 15th. Like the 15th is, the latest I can start it technically. And so it has to be done now because then, I'm not going to have enough time. Her recovery period is usually like 2 weeks. And that's like cutting it super short to when I have to be moved by. And I also have to go to Kyiv and sign a lease on the 5th because, there is no such thing as like, oh, you move in on the 15th in Ukraine. It's like usually the 1st of the month. And so it was like, I kind of was like able to talk the like landlord, but she's not really a landlord because in Ukraine things are different. You don't rent apartments from landlords, from like corporations. You lend them from like individuals who you rent them from individuals who own them, so you kind of can like communicate with them and stuff, but through an agent. And so like I kind of like talked the owner of the apartment into like letting me move in on the 5th, not on the 1st, because it's like earlier than I expected anyway, because my move-in date would have been 15th, but she would just give the apartment to someone else. And it's honestly like the most perfect apartment I've seen. And Kyiv kind of reminds me of New York in that way, because it's just like they now have this thing where for the budget that's like decent, you now get these like boxes in new builds that have no space at all. And they keep building these like fancy apartment complexes, and they justify it by charging for the apartment complex. But it's like, I don't care for the apartment complex. I don't want a fancy apartment complex. I just want like a normal apartment. So anyway, so this was like a gem, and it's 15 to 20 minutes walk from work, which is like unheard of in Kyiv. So, so no subway needed or no taxi or anything like that. I can walk, which is like super nice. But I have to like go sign it on the 5th, or I have to sign it remotely and like send the first month rent and stuff. And it's just like a lot super stressful because it's super stressful because like I don't know if I'm going to be able to go there and sign it on the 5th in person and like bring my stuff with my mom in a car, or like at least half of my stuff or something, because it depends on how well City is going to be recovering. If her recovery is going well, then I can leave her with my grandma, and I can just give her like light sedatives that they give you after surgeries, because my grandma is like older, and she doesn't, like a bulldog is a lot of dog for her. So I can just give Cindy, something like that would make her, like sleep and not like run around a lot. And so my grandma can stay with her, and she can like administer meds if necessary and stuff. And if Cindy is not recovering well, then that's a whole separate subject, and I'm going to have to sign it remotely and then like wait until like we can go with Cindy. But then that's a problem because I will have to ship all of my stuff through Nova Poshta, which is like not nearly as expensive as in the US, but obviously not for free. Like it would be moving it in my mom's car. So it's just like, it's been a very, very stressful week. I have a super busy day tomorrow. I have like so much. I have appointments starting at, so Sydney's thing is at 10 a.m. My mom is going to be here at 9:15. At 11:30, I have another thing to do. And then at 2 p.m., I have another thing to do. And then it's just kind of like nonstop in the next couple of days. And at least Sydney is going to be at the vet under their care until the evening, because they want to make sure that everything is fine post-op and stuff like that. So I'll pick her up in the evening. But other than that, it's also going to be like a difficult kind of couple of days, because I'm going to have to like really watch her so she doesn't like, try to take off her stitches and stuff. So she doesn't do anything. So she doesn't, basically it's going to be like quite a lot. Also, I need to start packing, and it's just so much is going on. On the one hand, I'm really excited because it's like a new chapter, and it's like very interesting for me, and I'm super yeah, I'm just like, I'm very excited on the one hand, but on the other hand, I'm just kind of like, so much anxiety, so many things happening. And I'm used to kind of this like schedule where everything is rolling. But like, because I took this month off, I sort of like, it's like all happening at once back, like really, like, it's kind of like taking a month to do things very slow and like at my own pace, and kind of like give myself a break and force myself to have a break. And then like, I'm just being thrown back into like the whirlwind of things. So it's not like I'm easing myself into it. Like, no, I'm just thrown into it. So yeah, so there is that. And you need a personal assistant. Hey, I don't disagree with you, but I cannot afford a personal assistant. Hi, Diane. Not necessarily permanently. I think that I would be, I'm kind of like, my, my family, like my family kind of suggested that it's not the best time to do that. Also, I don't want to lose my green card that I just got, and I have a lot holding me in the U.S. still in a way. So I want to be here more than I want to be here for longer periods of time than in the US in the coming year or two, because there is a lot that I can do here. And I feel like I'm much more needed here, and I do a lot more for my country here. So I really want to be here, but I also don't necessarily want to, I can't necessarily just like, fully leave the US, nor do I think it's smart. Oh my gosh, Veronica, congratulations with your 20th wedding anniversary and the dinner. You shouldn't be on TikTok watching my news while you are at your 20th anniversary dinner. But so, oh, also cool thing. So my friend brought, remember you guys, I showed you a painting that I did. It's more of just like, it's kind of like random art with mixed media that I did a couple of weeks ago with my friends, because we like went to this like art. It's not an art course. It's more of like an art class. No, not class. It's like an art. I don't know how to explain it, because it wasn't a class by any means. We were just given canvases and a bunch of paint and a bunch of paint and a bunch of like different mediums, and it was an art thing. So my friend finally like picked up the painting, so she brought mine. Do you want to see it? Are you talking about the paint splattered on a canvas thingy? Yes. Do you want to see it? If you do, I'll bring it out, because I put it in the kitchen because I don't know where to put it right now. And also, I got myself this really cool candle today. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I just really liked it. So I was like, I was having a moment today, and when I have a moment, I usually get myself like a candle or something. So they were coming in a pair of two, and I don't know, they look very weird, and I find them adorable. So yeah, there's that, and I will see you in a second. Okay. Doggies. Doggy assholes. Okay. So it's really unfortunate timing that my camera is not working, but so this is the print. So this is supposed to be like a match, and that's kind of, yeah. Nobody say anything about the candles. Grumpy. Those are cowboy candles. So yeah, so this is what I made, and like I don't know, it just kind of, I don't know. I don't know what it means or anything, but so this looks like a match, and I feel like it would look cooler in a more in better quality, and it's also very textured. So you can't really see it well on YouTube, but you'll probably see it better on TikTok. So yeah, burnt out. Yeah. So yeah, this is the thing. I really like it, actually. I know it's weird, but I really do like it, and I kind of want to put it up in my new apartment, not new apartment, like in the Kyiv apartment. So yeah, there is that. Are there any Russians you can think of that you respect and support? So, I'll answer that question, and I've answered it before, and I feel like a lot of you haven't heard my answer. So, yes and no. So Samberg is asking if there are any Russians that I respect and support. So I don't support Russians. The reason why I don't, so it's a two-part answer. Are there any Russians that I respect? Yes, very few. And in my 2 years in social media, I've met two. So basically, literally out of everyone that I've met with Russian roots or Russian background or anything like that in 2 years, and I've met a ton. Two. I'll tell you why I respect them later, but I'll also tell you why I don't support Russians in general. Because here's the thing. The Russians that I respect don't care for recognition. They don't care to be known. They don't care to have an English-speaking audience. They don't care to highlight the terrible situation in Russia for English speakers. The Russians that I respect speak in Russian to other Russians and try to change the minds of Russians within Russia. They do work for the Russians, because the thing is that no one in the West needs to know news about Russia. No one in the West needs to hear from the poor Russians. No one in the West needs to hear the Russian perspective on the war in Ukraine. because they're invaders. And so the only perspective they should have is we are fucking sorry and we will do everything possible to stop it. Not their excuses, not their explanations, and especially not the Russians who are freaking talking about what's happening in Ukraine as if they understand it, as if they're Ukrainian, equating us and making it seem like there is no difference between us and they're also going through some like, through some terrible thing. No, their thing is of their own creation and they could have stopped it. And reasonably they could protest, they could topple their government, because this entire thing of like, oh my gosh, no, we can't protest because we're going to be thrown to jail. Like, okay, well, you're thrown to the front and you're most likely going to die there and not by toppling your government. So Russians don't want to get hurt in order to accomplish anything. So it's easier for them to let us get hurt because they don't want to get hurt, right? So the Russians that fight for Ukraine, the Russians that do like actual reasonable work, the Russians that dedicate their time to genuinely helping Ukraine, the Russians that came here and are doing humanitarian work and stuff like that, they're not out there online talking about how they're Russian. They don't want to, they're not trying to make themselves feel special or seem special. Because, for instance, when a person from France or Canada or like the US or England or Germany comes to Ukraine, they're not making a social media profile emphasizing the fact that they're German helping Ukraine. So why are Russians who are helping Ukraine special? They're not. And they shouldn't position themselves as being special. The least they can freaking do is do everything that's in their power to help us and to stop this, right? So for me, the Russians that I respect, I don't support because they're not looking for exposure. The people who are looking for exposure want a pat on the back for being good Russians. The people who are doing the best and the people who are doing the most are not fucking asking for recognition. They're not trying to be called a good Russian, which is why there is no such thing as a good Russian, because a good Russian wouldn't be trying to prove that they're good. They would be doing things and they would be spending less time trying to prove that they're different and more time trying to actually help Ukraine. And there are very few Russians like that. There is one, his name is Pavlik, and I've talked about him many times. I have immense amount of respect for him. He's been doing anti Russian government activism since way before the full-scale invasion or way before the invasion of Donbass. And he's been arrested multiple times for it. He's been prosecuted, and he basically fled Russia at some point because there was literally KGB that was going to come to his house and like get rid of him, and he was tipped off, and so him and his family fled, and he made the decision to flee because he knows that he can do more alive than he can dead. And so he's still continuing his work from abroad. He's still like, he participates in these things where he calls Russians and talks to them for hours trying to like change their mind. He works in various different initiatives with like the activists who like screw stuff up in Russia and stuff like that. So he's actually like, he's great. And his like social media is in Russian and Russian facing. And all the Russians who tell you that like, oh, they're doing it because, like the West can help. The West can't help. The only people that can help Russians are Russians in Russia. So that's the thing. If they're trying to explain why they choose to speak in English instead of Russian to Russians, it's because they're trying to make money by talking about something that is popular topic. They're making money off the war in Ukraine. And unless they have a platform and they donate everything they make, and I mean like every single cent, then fuck them. Sorry. Because it's just not like they're making money off of talking about the war that they have no idea about, because they're not talking about Russia. They're talking about Ukraine, what's happening in Ukraine, and trying to explain the war in Ukraine to people. And they're talking over Ukrainians instead of Ukrainians and on behalf of Ukrainians, which is something they've done our entire existence. So we don't want that. We don't want Russians to explain to Western audiences their perspective on what they think the war is to us, because they don't get it. and they shouldn't be. They should be giving their platforms to Ukrainians if they have large platforms, and that would have been an actual good Russian thing to do. And I don't mean like interviewing them and stuff. I mean like literally surrender your platform to a Ukrainian, at least for the duration of this. So yeah. Hi Mark, and hi Gord, and hi K-Food. Isn't there a Russian-speaking friend a long time ago? Yulia made a vid about it. Gabby, but Gabby is not Russian. So Gabby is, well, first of all, she's Jewish and she is American. She has never been to Russia. Her family has never like brought her up as being Russian. Literally, as she says it herself, her the only thing that connects her and Russia is the fact that she likes kasha, which is like porridge. It's like this typical sort of like porridge for, you know, the most like plain porridge you can imagine. And she also, her grandfather was one of the first people to escape the Soviet Union. And I don't mean after its collapse. I mean during the Soviet Union, because he was an engineer, like a rocket engineer or something like that. I don't want to lie, but he was like a scientist of some sort, an engineering scientist of some sort, and he was working with like some top secret stuff, and he absolutely hated the Soviet Union and the regime. And so he surrendered a bunch of secrets to the United States in basically in exchange for like protection and for asylum. And he went against the Russian government during the Iron Curtain time, and moved to the US with his entire family. And he is the actual enemy of the people. So you know how in the Soviet Union you would be the enemy of the people? That means that like you would be sought after by the KGB. And so that was him. And I don't think anyone in his family can actually safely come back to Russia ever. So Gabby is not like a Russian. She's never really brought up in like a Russian culture or environment. She just knows the language. Whatever happened to the resistance group in Belarus? Well, I don't know. No one does, because they're not really doing much. Also, the Belarusian opposition is awful, and they were incredibly pro-Russian until it wasn't not profitable, beneficial for them anymore. And Tsikhanovskaya is she's just like an entitled person who basically told Zelensky that like we owe Belarus to like free Belarus from Russia, and there is no free Ukraine without free Belarus. And she's just like entitled, and she doesn't want to do anything herself, and she's not even in Belarus, and she's just sort of like basically saying that Ukraine has to like help Belarus be liberated, which makes no sense because Belarus has never helped us, and in this invasion literally lent its territory to Russia to use against us. And then she was upset that Zelensky didn't make it first priority to meet with her outside of Ukraine, while he literally has not left the country a single time at that point yet. So it's just like a crazy, crazy thing. So yeah, so there is that. So I'm going to, hi Andy, I'm going to start with the news unless I missed someone's question, because I feel like I did. So if I did, please like repeat it. Hi Super Hornet, and I will answer it. I thought I saw something and I just like didn't answer it. And I'm sorry, I didn't, if I didn't, I just didn't, I must have kind of just, sorry. So also, well, Sandberg, so it's another sort of like, it's another kind of extended answer that isn't just like, oh, love them, hate them, whatever. So ask me next time, because if I start answering it right now, it's going to be another 15 minutes, and then I'm just not going to have time to do the news. So ask me next time. or message me and I'll tell you, or like record a voice message, because but actually I probably people want to know. Thank you, Katie. So yeah. Merch in bio. Thanks. What? No, I don't actually have merch in bio. And if it says that, it was from before, when there was a specific initiative with 50% going to the armed forces of Ukraine. And that's the only reason that that was created. And the other, the 25 was going to the artists who created it, who were either Ukrainian or Polish helping Ukraine, and the other reserve was going to cover the expenses of shipping the merch and fulfilling the merch. So, but anyways, we don't have merch anymore. But yes, so what was I gonna say? What was I saying? Ukraine is busy at the moment. Yep. Playing the elitist. Here's what I was gonna say. So I think it was Michael who said you like Natasha's Adventures as the YouTube channel. Please tell me it's not Natasha from Russia, or like YouTube or TikTok, and it's not like a redhead. There are two of them. There is Natalia and there is Natasha. One is like Natasha's Russia, and the other one is like, I forgot what the Iron Curtain or something like that. Both of these women, I think Natasha's Russia is genuinely a propagandist, and the other Natalia is not a propagandist, but she's just a very, very, very awful person who pretends like she likes Ukraine and she stands with Ukraine, but she is oh, okay, so I don't think that's the one, because there is another one. I don't block anyone, my moderators do, so you have to ask them if they blocked you for a reason or if it was an accident. So basically, so the other one is just like, she writes like very nasty stuff under Ukrainian. She's very Russophilic, and basically is only pro-Ukrainian until someone says something negative about Russia. Hi, Mr. G, and the latest on Ukraine. I'm going to do that in a second. Okay, Grumpy, don't be mean. If it could have been like someone could have been blocked by accident too. So yeah. Russians read I think YouTube scares them. Russians read the comments. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not just YouTube. She's just like a very two-faced person, and she was also like actually stalking me. Like literally, she like would like message me from from different social medias and stuff, because I at some point just didn't want to. She had like a meltdown in my life she like came in and she had a meltdown, which was unprovoked, and I really haven't like really spoken to or about her, and she was just like being like a child, and so I blocked her because I was like, I'm not going to deal with this. And then she like kind of harassed me on Twitter and stuff like that, and I was just like, okay, crazy person. So yeah. Yeah, but also, Grumpy, why are you so mean to people? We all know that sometimes we block people by accident, so why don't you get to the bottom of it first, and then be mean if there is a reason to. The Telegraph Ukraine, the latest, is a decent source of info on the conflict on YouTube. I used to really like the Telegraph. My only like qualm with them is, I guess, like they have such a huge network, and they could have brought many more Ukrainians on air, but they kind of keep recycling the same people lately, and it's sad, because they were a really good podcast. I don't like them too much right now. I think they just keep going in circles about the same thing, and they keep interviewing the same people, and it's the same people talking to each other. And I really I really want I really oh my gosh, what was I on? Sorry. Uh, I literally forgot what I was talking about because that's what my head is. That's what that's how anxious and crazy I am right now. Um, oh yeah. Um, so yeah, the Telegraph. So first of all, yes, I want fresh people for that podcast, and I also want those that podcast to be. I want that podcast. I want that podcast to be like sort of. I want them to use their resources because there are so many English speaking Ukrainians who can talk. Right, there's so many better better resources that they can use. There's so many better like experts they can bring on, and not better, but just like new. And I feel like it just keeps going and going in circles. And it's sad because they do have this entire network, and they're one of the largest publications in the UK. So it just kind of like it makes no sense to me. So yeah, that's just sort of it. Then what else? I'm always um, I'm always, oh my gosh. Wow. I mean, I'm always going to support like publications that do not spread propaganda and are talking about Ukraine. But I just, I would say that there are better podcasts at the moment that aren't the Telegraph, that just don't have nearly as much exposure, for instance. And some of them are, I wish that they were translated into English, and some of them aren't. But, hopefully soon they will. And also, this kind of brings me to what I'm going to be doing soon with the new venture. But I can't talk about, well, I can, but I just don't want to because I don't want to talk about it until it's like almost out. So yeah, so I will actually, there is like, let's just say it's connected to video podcasts, interviews, and news, and propaganda dispelling propaganda. And it's with a media outlet in Ukraine, an English speaking media outlet in Ukraine. So so yeah, there is that. Okay. A gentle reminder, the fundraiser is going, and all the donations up to $500 are going to be matched. The link to the fundraiser is in my link in bio on TikTok, and it's let me pin it because Grumpy definitely sent it somewhere on YouTube. Hi, Doug. Oh my gosh, good to see you. But so basically, every donation is going to be doubled today. So if you send $10, it's going to be doubled to 20. If you send 5, it's going to be doubled to 10. 50 is 100. 100 is 200. You get it. A very, very, very sweet, nice, amazing person from Twitter offered to do this, and it's not the first time they've offered to do it's not the first time agreed to do this, and it's not the first time they've done it. They're fantastic, and I'm really thankful to them. So far today we've raised help me out, you guys. So it was $10 from Grumpy, then it was I believe $25, then it was $50, and it was $100. So we've raised 200, 300, 350, 370, I believe, out of like the $1,000 available to raise because all these donations doubled. I have the full amount that we are at right now, but I am not good with remembering. Oh, look, we just got another donation. So it's $15, so it turns into 30. So we are at $5,076, which is a little over 2 drones out of 6, which is phenomenal. So yes, you can donate through Venmo, PayPal, all sorts of different platforms. Although if it's Venmo, I might not see it until the end of the stream because I don't know if my VPN is on my phone. So $5,076 is what we're at today, which is phenomenal. Okay, so what I found is YouTube loves new genres, which can be crossover genres. Yes, YouTube does, which is sort of like, so you will see. I don't want to say too much, but you will see what I'm going to be doing. Oh yay, we got another $25, so that's actually $50. So we are at $5,126, which is really, really cool. Look at that. Thank you so much. You guys are wonderful. And so, okay, I'm going to start doing the news because if I don't, we're never going to get there. Why is Hungary so stubborn? Well, Hungary is pro-Russian and Hungary is a dictator regime of Viktor Orban. So of course they're going to be like that. Also, they want sort of like, I think Russia offered them to surrender a part of Ukraine that's near Hungary to Hungary because that's what they've been talking about recently. Okay, so the EU is reportedly developing a plan to undermine Hungary's economy if Budapest rejects agreeing to a new aid package for Ukraine, according to Financial Times. Finally, the publication suggests that Brussels aims to weaken the exchange rate of the Hungarian forint and diminish Hungary's investment attractiveness to harm the country's economic jobs growth. If Prime Minister Orban doesn't concede, the EU leadership might publicly announce the complete cessation of funding to Budapest with the intention of scaring the markets. Because, of course, they're very, very, very reliant on the EU funding because it is the least successful economically country in Europe and a country that gets the most support, because Poland does get the most support from the EU, but they also do bring some in, while Hungary is just a failure in that way. Also, interestingly, the list of вам треба, щоб вам хтось новини читав, чи ви типу самі не вмієте, чи як, чи ви не розбираєтесь, тому що я спілкуюсь недержавною англійською мовою в соціальних мережах, тому що я розповідаю новини західній аудиторії, якій це потрібно більше, ніж мені читати і пояснювати новини вам, бо ви, напевно, вмієте читати, напевно, самі можете в цьому розібратися, правда? Also, we just got another donation of $20, so that will be $40 altogether. Oh, look at that. That's a Russian troll. That's what it is. It is, it is translating things. So honey bunny, stulirota is not a real thing a Ukrainian person would say unless you're like in your 60s. And doing a dubbing of a movie, because that's not what we would say. That's very evident Google Translate. And also, пиздёж пишется не так. It's not how you write it. So I'm so sorry that that's what your Google Translate does. It's really bad. I do appreciate that you finally changed your username to a Ukrainian username, not like a bunch of Russian men's names. That is really nice of you. I do appreciate. You did a better job. But hey, keep it up, Oh, how do you write that? It's not my job to tell you. Why don't you do your job better? The job that you're being paid to do, with obviously so many fake accounts. It is really freaking evident that you're a Russian troll. So why don't you freaking do the job that you're paid to do and figure out how to write that in Ukrainian, and then maybe we'll talk next time, when you're actually a little bit better at what you're supposed to be good at. But anyways, ta-ta for now. It was good to see you again. I have this Russian troll on YouTube that pretends to be Ukrainian, except before this, they had like 75 different accounts and they were all like Russian male names. And they kept coming in and saying they're not a Russian troll, they're Ukrainian, right? And it's like, yes, because an average Ukrainian just has like 20 plus YouTube accounts, and every time they get blocked, they're so adamant at proving you that they're Ukrainian, right? That they continuously keep logging into all of these spare accounts they have. And they also all have like Russian male names, right? It makes so much sense. So Ukrainian. Like an average Ukrainian has 20 plus YouTube accounts. It's so normal. So normal, isn't it? Also, Grumpy, that troll is on YouTube. So could you please take out the, I mean, it's going to come back under a different username, but oh well. I also think that it has a really hard time understanding my English. It's too fast for it, and it's a little too, it's a little too advanced because they're telling me that I speak too much. You should answer with nonsense. That's what I've kind of been doing. Was it the one who wrote so confusing stuff and you laugh so much? Yes, that's the person who was writing like ridiculous insults. It called me, and I kid you not. So first of all, just as a reminder, $5,166 is what the fundraiser is at after the donations. So this troll came in last time, and they continued writing these like ridiculous insults, but because they were translating them through Google Translate, they were like antiquated insults and no one like uses that, right? So they called me rotten hole. What's like a super antiquated English word for slut? That's like, I need a super antiquated, like incredibly unused word for that. So called me, no, not a slattern. There we have it. Wait, slattern or harlot. Yes. So something like that. Harlot. Okay. So they called me a rotten hole harlot, but in Ukrainian. And it was the funniest freaking thing I have ever heard, because I've never heard that before. It's like not a thing. It's really bad Google Translate. And I was dying. It was so funny. I was a dolly mop, or strumpet. Yes, it was literally just like a word that no one uses. And oh, see, that's it. That's it. It is. It's them. Oh, hi, baby. I've missed you. I was laughing so hard because I've basically told this to all of my friends, and we now have a group chat called Rotten Hold Strumpets. And we love it. We are just like, anytime we are, you know, anytime we are startled and we don't know how to insult someone because someone is like being an asshole, we are just going to be using hi Tony, we're just going to be using that insult because it's perfect. And oh my gosh, this guy, they keep going, they keep giving me better insults. So for all of those of you who understand Ukrainian, I was just told "Я сравню твоїх іноземних піздолизів." And I don't know where this person comes up with these words that they translate, but they're perfect. I love it. It's like I don't know if they realize it, but they're like giving me life. I love you. You're fantastic. I don't know if like Russia pays you to be annoying. I will tell you, here's the thing, you're not annoying. You're such good entertainment. Like, you're probably supposed to like annoy Ukrainian creators and like make me angry, make me like, rallied up, like yell and stuff. Like, honey, you are the best comedy show I've had in a while. I like it. It is so good. Thank you so much for that. It's very nice. It's like it works really great for me, I swear. So yeah. Very smooth and fascinating. Yes, it is. So the list of the strongest armies in Europe. I love that. Like this. Okay, so let me actually answer this to this person. So they're asking if I'm not even considering the option that they know Ukrainian. I don't know if your English is like English comprehension skills are really bad, but as I said before, first of all, you had male names before that. Like all of your other 20 plus accounts were under male names. So I don't know why an average Ukrainian person who is just like, happens to stop by and just consistently stalk my account from different accounts after being blocked, would continuously come back under different names and now under a female name. to just, stalk me. I mean, unless you are like very pathetic and you have no life, and I'm really sorry for that. Do you need a friend? I don't see how you're not a Russian troll. And oh, you only have 10 accounts. Well, that's lovely. I'm sure after you get blocked on this one, you'll create the 11th and then the 12th and then the 13th. But I mean, hey, 10 is yeah, because an average normal person who's not a troll or like some crazy person, yeah. Oh, you guys, there we have it. Crimea and Donbass is Russian land with Russian population. Slava Russia and glory to Russia and the Russian people. Oh my God. How did I know? You know, it's only the 10 the 10 plus accounts and it's only the 10 plus accounts and the fact that this person was genuinely asking me how to properly spell the Ukrainian word they didn't know how to spell because Google translates it wrong for them and stuff. I love, 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 love. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Kikin. Thank you so much. Oh man. But like honestly, I love that. That's so wholesome, It went from this troll trying to pretend to be Ukrainian. It went from him having like Russian male names to him like actually figuring it out and like, and creating a Ukrainian name because I told them that it's not going to like work if they keep having Russian names. Then I told this troll that I know they're a troll because they keep having so many accounts, so they stopped coming for a while and came in today from a different account, again named in Ukrainian. I've told them that their Ukrainian grammar is really bad, and that they need to work on it. They did. It's like, I'm so happy. I feel like a troll master. It's taken all of my advice. It's learning, and the Ukrainization is working. Their Ukrainian is getting better. Their name is now in Ukrainian, and like they're taking my advice and listening to me. It's so sweet. It's really wholesome. This troll is like they're really evolving. It's so nice. Yeah, so anyways, I love these little things. This one like genuinely makes my day. I'm gonna be so sad when they lose that job for how bad they're at it and they're gonna stop coming to my lives. I'm actually gonna be like, oh, sad. Okay, so the list of the most powerful the list of the most powerful armies in Europe came out, and United Kingdom is number 1, Italy is number 2, France is number 3, and Ukraine is number 4, followed by Germany at number 5, Spain at number 6, and Poland at number 7, which actually is wild because Ukrainian army is 4th in Europe after the UK, Italy, and France. And so it's overall ranking for the most powerful armies in Europe. And it's actually kind of crazy because Ukraine would have never been anywhere near being in top 5 at any point before this. And Ukraine also is the only army that has real combat experience in a large scale war, defense war in Italy, no way, right? In Europe or in the world, really. Well, not in the world, but in Western world. So yeah. Zelensky hopes that the US will not stop helping Ukraine, otherwise Europe will not be able to cope alone. NATO will weaken, and this will threaten the redistribution of the world. It will. Also, the president did not say whether the war in Ukraine can end in 2024, but he's convinced that Russia can be stopped, preventing the destruction of Ukraine and the Third World War. So, I mean, here's the thing. I actually had a very like emotional conversation about this and about like what will happen if the US will stop helping today with Grumpy and Fella. And because I'm already anxious and I have all this stuff going on tomorrow, I would actually like to avoid talking about it until like tomorrow or the day after, because it is a very extensive conversation and I do have a lot to say about it, and very constructive and very like, and very extensive. Are you Ukrainian? Yes, I'm in Ukraine. I'm also born and raised Ukrainian. I've lived in New York for 12 years. I came back here because it's my home and I want to be as useful here as possible. So yeah, yes, to answer your question shortly, I am Ukrainian. But yes, so I had a really long conversation about it today. Well, not really long, but like kind of very emotional. And I do have a lot to say about it. I just don't want to do it right now because it's already late and it's going to be a very long conversation. And I would rather do it in a day that I'm not like anxious and need to go to bed. So there is that. Thank you. Thank you so much. US and Europe will give enough to survive, but never enough to win. Well, Dave, that's not necessarily right. Okay, so also thank you, FFC. So after the end of the Australian Open 2024, 3 Ukrainian tennis players have entered the top 30 of the WTA, Women's Tennis Association. Elina Svitolina, the first-ranked Ukrainian player, is now in the 19th place globally, climbing 4 positions. Elina Svitolina is like a fantastic tennis player. Marta Kostyuk has made significant progress, climbing 9 places to achieve her personal record at 28th place. Diana Yastremska demonstrated remarkable improvement, rising to the 29th place due to her semifinal performance at the tournament, a substantial advancement from her previous ranking. So Ukrainians, it's like the first time in modern history that so many Ukrainians actually entered quarterfinals and half semifinals. And it was like a very intense Australian Open this year. And Elina Svitolina she's climbing the rankings really fast and she has a lot of potential. She's the best player in Ukraine and she is now ranked 19 globally. And that's a very, very, very big deal. So there's that. I saw Ukrainian soup earlier. I think it was borscht, but it wasn't as purple. Is this a certain kind? Borscht is not supposed to be purple. It's supposed to be like red because it's beets. Hi, Yulia. How have people supported you and how would you recommend I support my Ukrainian friends from the US? It depends. Are your friends in large cities? Have they experienced internal displacement? Do they have their homes? Do they speak English? Do you want to support them emotionally? Do you want to support them financially? Do you want to support them like there's so many different things you can do. And so there are a lot of, so I was actually talking about this with my aunt today. And she was saying that she supports this charity that what it basically does is people write to it and they're people who are like internally displaced or refugees in other countries whose homes have been destroyed and stuff. And they basically write to this charity and they'll be like, hey, we need 4 cups or like 4 mugs or like we need a blanket or we need this or that. And so this charity basically sends out a request to the group and then someone says like, oh, I have a blanket. This is the blanket. Where do I send it? And so they send it directly to the family. So depending on what situation your friends are in, there are a lot of different things that you can do. You can DM me on my main account, which is at Yulia. So the same as my at here, but without its. I can give you more, you can tell me more details and I can tell you more sort of what you can do. Ukrainian girl power. Yes. tennis tournament last week. Oh my gosh, Odin, your daughter plays tennis. She's also a cheerleader. Like your daughter is Superwoman. Oh my god. Okay, NATO must be prepared for Russian strikes on targets in Europe in the event of a war initiated by the Kremlin, warned Lieutenant General Alexander Solfrank, the commander of the NATO Military Logistics Center in Germany. He urged allies to address bureaucratic obstacles hindering the movement of troops and equipment among member countries. Concerns are raised about potential Russian actions beyond Ukraine, prompting NATO to strengthen defenses within a window of opportunity that may last as little as 3 years. Solfrank and other generals expressed concerns that in such a scenario, Russia might target infrastructure deep behind front lines to cripple civilian and military support systems. They emphasized the need to anticipate a fierce struggle for rare areas, with the aggressor using various forms of force to disrupt communication lines. Deterring a potential invasion involves not only military power, but also the ability to deploy rapidly and sustain operations throughout a prolonged conflict. Solfrank highlights the importance of flexible and adaptable supply and reinforcement routes, as seen in the lessons learned from the war in Ukraine. Brigadier General Frank Schmitz emphasizes the need for NATO members to invest in additional capacity, providing multiple options for munitions storage, unit movement, and command post deployment. Solfrank urges all NATO members to start working on these aspects today. So I've talked about it earlier, like a lot more leaders in the EU are coming to the conclusion that they need to start preparing for war. And that they need to start preparing for war. And it doesn't necessarily mean that war is going to come, but it's better to be prepared than not prepared. Yes, the UK has ramped up the recruitment and also production and everything. And the UK defense minister also said that it's an important thing to do, because he said a very, very important thing. And he said, we are not in the post-World War II era anymore. We are in the pre-World War III era. Not even in the pre-World War III era, but we're like entering World War III, right? And it's in our hands if it's going to happen or not, because it is really like, it comes down to Ukraine. If we don't stop Russia here, it's going to go further. And it's really the axis of evil. It's these dictatorships trying to change the world order. And it's like, it's not fear mongering. It's actually on the contrary. It's like, it's in our hands. If we fix it now, it's not going to happen, but it's better to be prepared for it than regret it later. And if we miss the opportunity, then we're going to be screwed. But we have the ability to not miss this opportunity, and we have the ability to prevent it. And that's what they're trying to say, is that we should do everything possible. And the preventing of this is on the territory of Ukraine, and there is just no other way to put it. But okay, it's 2:15 a.m. and I need to be ready at 9:15 with my dogs walked and fed, and well, Cindy can't eat, but Liv should. So I need to go. I will see you guys as per usual tomorrow. Again, we still have some threshold for the $500 matching of donations. So we are at $5,166, and every donation is matched up to $500. And I believe we still have about we still have a good half that we can go off of. And I'm sure it'll stretch into tomorrow, with some positive reinforcement. But please do donate if you can, because a $5 donation is actually 10 is actually 20, and 20 is actually 40, and so on. So if you have the ability to, please consider doing so. You can do that through my PayPal or Venmo in the link over here, or Revolut, or Monobank. And over here is where, do you still go live on TikTok? I am live right now. I'm just banned on my main account until like a while, so I'm using my other account. So, and in here on TikTok, it's in my link in bio, or right over there where Grumpy had pointed it out. So yeah, if you have the ability to, please do. It's for drones for third separate assault brigade, and we are at 2 drones out of 6. And this matching of donations did help quite a bit. So, so yeah. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you. Oh my gosh, wait. Oh, yay. Thank you, Chad. That's so sweet. So we just received another $50 donation, which got turned into a $100 donation. And we are at $5,266 now, which is woo. Sorry. That was a little, that was a little much. But so yeah, that's a great result. We were at 4,690 at the beginning of the stream today. So I think we've done almost half. We've raised almost half of what we can. I'm actually going to tell you. So I posted an update on Twitter finally, and I'm going to post another one right now. So so I'm going to let you know, because I'm going to look at all the donations that came in, and I will tell you how much we still have that we can match. So so yeah, thank you so much. And if I don't do it now, I promise I will do it by morning, because I have started I have started keeping up on Twitter again, and I've just been so, as I said, anxious, stressed, and a lot going on. But I do announce the I announce the amount every time on live. I just haven't put it on Twitter or Threads or Instagram, which is a bad idea. I should, because that would help immensely with fundraising as well. It's just been a really, 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 really sort of stressful and busy time. And the reason why why this like matching thing is amazing is because it kickstarts, I'm going to be way on top of it now, because I do want to get them 6 drones. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for being so supportive and awesome. And thank you, Enlightenment. Oh, thank you. Hi, Chad. Until tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here and sitting there in, lurking in the background. I'm kidding. But okay, so I'm going to go. Good night. Sorry, I've said good night like 17 million times, but if I don't actually go, I'm not going to go for a while. And thank you, Tani. Na dobranić. Hydrocarbon. Good night, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Bye.